What is going on YouTube and Diablo fans? My name's Andreas and as always welcome back to Mana and Motherboards. Now today we are continuing my gambling addiction. We're going to be crafting the rest of my remaining materials into blood rings and caster rings. So if you don't know what those are, they are rings that can roll with lifesteal, which is very important for the Echoing Strike Warlock build, as well as faster cast rate, which is also very much important. And just to note, that's not on one ring, although you can randomly get those affixes, but the blood ring in specific is to roll at least the affix of lifesteal, and the caster ring is at least the affix of faster cast rate. So with that being said, we are going to do about 50 of those rings. So I've got a couple perfect rubies here, a couple perfect amethysts, a bunch of rings that I gambled at level 93 on my Warlock, and a bunch of random jewels that we have, which is part of this recipe. So what we have here is, in order to craft, or let me just rephrase that, in order to craft these rings, what we will need is a ring, a jewel, and then we will quickly just go to our gems, add a gem, and then from our runes. So for the blood ring we will need a perfect ruby, any random gem, any random item level 93 and above, eye level 93 and above ring, so I gambled these. And then we will also need a soul rune. So there we go, that is our recipe. Ring number 1, nothing fantastic as to be expected. So we are just going to continue doing these rings and chatting to you as we go along here and see if we can come up with anything good. So another thing just to note, whilst we are doing this, I am busy getting together my Discord server for the community, for our little Mana and Motherboards group here, and if you'd be interested in joining that, definitely stay tuned, and I will link details to that down below. And I'm also going to be doing something quite exciting, I think, this week, and we are going to be doing a fully geared Echoing Strike Warlock giveaway. So this Warlock giveaway is going to be fully geared, fully optimized, and it's going to be a really exciting time for someone to win a fully geared high level character, minus the character you'll have to level on yourself, but you will get all of the gear. So that is just something to note, and I will put more details down in the description for that. That will be happening in the next day or two, so definitely stay tuned and subscribed for that. And basically, one of my good friends who I always play Diablo 2 with, and Project Diablo 2 and all of that good stuff, he was playing the Reign of the Warlock season now, and you know, life intervenes and throws things in your way and you suddenly can't game as much anymore. So he is sort of done his time for this season, and he is going to be stopping playing until the next season. So he has kindly offered Mana and Motherboards his fully geared Echoing Strike Warlock to do a giveaway on, or giveaway with. So we are going to be giving his gear away for this giveaway. That's a nice Dual Lecch ring, but unfortunately required level 96, which isn't great. So yeah, he's kindly donated his gear for his Echoing Strike Warlock to Mana and Motherboards to do this giveaway. And there's another cool ring. Yeah, maybe that's worth keeping. Anyway, I'm going to throw these ones on the floor and we can have a look later at what's going on there. And now we're just going to fill up our inventory again, and then we can start the crafting process again. So I'm going to put this back in the stash. Where can I put that? I'll put it over there. And then we can get some more rings and do this process over. So with that giveaway, the Echoing Strike Warlock sort of setup that he has is very similar to my setup. I would personally say not quite as well geared, but close enough. He might tend to argue that point, but you know, each to their own. And this Warlock will have an Enigma, an Obsession, Archon Staff, Ethereal. It will have you know, your Gore Riders, your Shaco, High Lords, a 35 Spirit, all of those really good items that you need to run any area, any content in the entire game. And we are just super excited to give it away to the community here, because I think it's a great way for the channel to grow and for you guys to, you know, get some incentive to watch the videos other than what the videos on their own provide. So I think it's going to be very cool, and I'm excited to give away all of that stuff to you guys. So I'm thinking what the whole sort of deal is going to be there is that you just need to subscribe to the channel and then join our Discord community, and that will give you an entry to win this Echoing Strike gear that we are going to be giving away. So let me know if you are interested in that in the comments below. I think whether you are a returning player or just a new player starting out in the season, either way this is really going to get you going and give you a nice boost and head start for the season. So yeah, we're already relatively far into the season, but that doesn't mean some extra help and gear wouldn't be appreciated. 10 lifesteal per hit, that is a massive lifesteal ring there. After we finish off these, we're going to move to the caster rings just to make sure we have enough materials for those and make sure that we can craft as many of those as possible as well. We have 22 perfect amethysts, so we're going to see what we can do there. Yeah, so far crafting this season has been hit and miss. I would say mostly miss, but nonetheless, it's what you gotta try and it's what you gotta do to get that GG gear. We haven't found anything that fantastic. I mean, ideally what we would find is a cast rate with Dual Lecch. That would be the ideal scenario here, but so far we haven't got any hits on that. Yep. So I'm going to put these ones on the floor. We can have a look through them later, and then I'm going to do some caster rings now. So let's go into our stash, get a bunch more rings, get a bunch more jewels, and let's get to crafting. So I think these, for the caster rings now, we are going to be using a arm rune and then a perfect amethyst, as opposed to the soul rune and the perfect ruby for the blood ring. So what do we have there? Yep, nothing fantastic there. So these caster rings have mana affixes attached to them. So like I said, or what I said earlier of them having faster cast rate, I was mistaken. I was incorrect with that. They have mana affixes that get attached to them. As you can see here, they will have extra mana, energy, regenerate mana, that sort of stuff. So we are just playing our chances here, doing both caster and blood rings. How many of you are done for the season? That's a question I am interested in asking, because for a lot of people, when we are almost a month into the season now, that's sort of end of the season for them. Me personally, still very much excited on the season, still very much playing it. I will quite soon be transitioning to a Miasma Chaos Warlock build, and that is going to use a lot of the gear that I do have for the Echoing Strike build currently, but it will then move over to my Miasma build instead. And I'm quite looking forward to that, just a change of pace, a change of scenery, and just doing something a little bit different with this Warlock. It's been very fun playing Echoing Strike, but at the same time, it's a new class, and I want to sort of dive deeper into a bit of the other skills and the other builds a bit more. I've played sort of most of the builds already, but I still want to, dig a bit deeper and a bit further into some of the builds and how they play out in the end game now. So I'm definitely excited for that, and I hope you guys are as well. And also, I'd like to know, if you were playing Echoing Strike and you have transitioned into any other builds, what build did you choose and what did you transition into? I'd be very interested to hear that. I think that the Fire build is really great in the end game, provided you have some pretty expensive gear like Phoenix and Flickering Flame and a Crazy Obsession and Enigma and items like that. But I do think it's a really great build, maybe also if you have a Sundered Charm. And for me, the Miasma build is quite technically challenging and quite fun in that regard, so I'm quite keen to play it and sort of test my mettle against its intricacies, if you can call it that, and yeah, just have a lot of fun with it. I think it is a really exciting build, and it's one that I've been looking forward to playing a bit more. I think Blood Boil is in a particularly good spot at the moment. It is really working well and deals with immunities well, and just in general is working quite great overall. Blood Boil is definitely a strong contender for one of the top Warlock builds that we have available at the moment. And I think it would be cool maybe if there was a bit more variation in the demon tree in terms of what you could play as like a dedicated build, but I have been seeing some promising things with a tainted build, specifically shooting tons and tons of those fireballs or fire bolts out, and that looks like it could be quite a promising build on its own as well, like a sort of fire warlock shooting crazy fire bolts from its tainted, and using a couple cool items that play into that build style. So I think there's been some cool options going on there, and I'm quite excited to also do some testing there and see what I can come up with for that fire tainted build in specific. And yeah, you've got the two chaos builds that are very cool. You've got the cleave build, the Echoing Strike build, obviously, and there's quite a lot of options and quite a lot of variations at your disposal for the Warlock, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and I'm enjoying where the Warlock is at the moment. I'm not enjoying, however, this luck with the crafting, but that just seems to be how it goes, So we're almost finished with our caster rings here. No dual Lecch rings with FCR so far, but we're still giving it a bash. So this is our third last caster ring. That one, level 96, that's crazy. Never going to be using that. So I'm going to do 2 more caster rings and then move on to blood rings again, just for a couple. So let me see how many rings we got left here. So we got 8 jewels and we have 8 rings left. So let's do our last caster ones here. Nothing exciting there. I have gone through a lot of materials for crafting so far this season, and I'm hoping that one of them will pay off big time sometime soon, but we shall see. So back to the blood rings now. The last 5. What are you gonna give us, RNG? Something great, I hope. No, no, no. Not today. How has Diablo 4 been going for any of you guys playing Diablo 4? I am probably going to wait until the expansion drops before I get into playing a bit more Diablo 4. I'm still currently enjoying Diablo 2 Resurrected so much, so I don't think Diablo 4 is just on the cards just yet. But the new season is definitely looking promising and definitely looking like something that I would be keen to get into. So I'm definitely going to give that a bit of a rest right now, but as soon as the new expansion drops, I'm definitely going to jump into that. Last one. And nothing fantastic. As always, let me know in the comments if you saw a ring that I maybe missed and that's maybe better than I initially thought it is. Personally, I didn't see anything of much great value here so far, so I don't think there was a lot that we got out of this gambling session in particular. But what I'm going to do is just put these rings in the stash, and any of you can let me know in the comments if you saw a ring that you think is particularly good or useful, maybe even a ring that you want to use yourself. I'd be happy to hand that over to you if it's something you are interested in, so definitely comment below and let me know that. And yes, we didn't find anything fantastic, so be it, and you know, we will continue to gamble even if we don't find the best stuff, because that's just what we do, and I enjoy it thoroughly. I really enjoyed this little time that we spent together crafting these amulets, and stick around for some more RNG, some more magic finding, some more D2R content, and we'll see you again soon for some more mana and motherboards. Cheers.